Today, we are covering plants that repair your soil naturally by adding nitrogen, building organic matter, protecting bare ground, reducing erosion, and improving soil structure with their roots. But first, pay attention to what your soil needs. Nitrogen plays a big role in green growth, especially the leaves. If your plants look pale, yellow, weak, or slow to grow, your soil may be low in nitrogen. But too much nitrogen can also cause problems. You may get big green leaves, but fewer flowers and fewer fruits. So today we are talking about plants that can help your garden work better from the ground up. So let's grow by zone. Let's start with clover because this is one of the easiest plants to understand when we talk about soil improvement. Clover helps increase nitrogen in the soil. As we know, nitrogen is one of the main nutrients plants need for healthy green growth. When soil is low in nitrogen, plants may look pale, weak, or slow to grow. This is the reason why clover works. It is a legume. That means it can work with beneficial soil bacteria called rhizobia. These bacteria attach to the roots and form tiny nodules. Inside those nodules, the bacteria take nitrogen from the air and convert it into a form the plant can use. So clover is not just sitting there looking pretty, it is working with soil bacteria underground. As clover grows, drops leaves, gets cut back, or replaces old roots, the plant material slowly breaks down. Over time, that helps cycle nitrogen and organic matter back into the soil. It also protects bare ground. Instead of leaving soil exposed to sun, wind, and heavy rain, clover acts like a living cover. This helps reduce erosion, keeps the soil surface cooler, and gives soil organisms something living to work around. White clover stays low, usually around 4 to 8 inches tall. That makes it useful for pathways, orchard areas, lawn alternatives, and living mulch. Red clover grows taller, usually around 1 to 2 feet tall. That makes it better if your goal is more biomass, more flowers, and more plant material to break down into organic matter. Both types produce small flower heads that bees love. Clover is native to Europe and parts of Western Asia, but it has naturalized in many areas around the world. Most clovers grow well in USDA zones 3 through 10, depending on the type. Next on the list is alfalfa. It is another powerful soil-building plant, especially if your soil needs nitrogen and better structure. Alfalfa helps increase nitrogen in the soil, but it also helps with compacted soil because of its deep taproot. Compacted soil makes it harder for air, water, and roots to move through the ground. So even if you are watering and fertilizing, plants can still struggle when the soil is packed too tightly. This is why alfalfa works. It is also a legume, so it can work with rhizobia bacteria to help convert nitrogen from the air into a form the plant can use. But what makes alfalfa different is its root system. Alfalfa sends down a deep taproot that can reach far into the soil and help open it up over time. As older roots die and break down, they leave small channels in the soil. Those channels help air, water, and future plant roots move more easily. Alfalfa also produces leafy growth above ground. When that growth is cut back and left to break down, it adds organic matter back into the soil. That organic matter helps improve soil texture, moisture retention, and microbial activity. Alfalfa usually grows about 2 to 3 feet tall and produces purple, lavender, blue, cream, or yellow flowers depending on the type. It is often used as a forage crop, but it can also help rebuild tired garden soil. Alfalfa is believed to have originated in southwestern Asia and has been used for thousands of years as a forage and soil-building plant. It usually grows best in USDA zones 3 through 8. Another great plant is lupine. It is proof that a soil-building plant can still be beautiful enough for the flower garden. Lupine helps with nitrogen, especially in poor or sandy soils. If your soil is low in nutrients, lupine can help support nitrogen cycling underground. This is the reason lupine works. It is also part of the legume family, so it can work with nitrogen-fixing bacteria in the soil. Those bacteria live around the roots and help convert nitrogen from the air into a form the plant can use. So while lupine is giving you tall flower spikes above ground, it is also supporting soil biology below ground. Lupine helps repair soil by adding living roots. stabilizing the ground and feeding the soil as roots and plant material break down. It works especially well in natural-style gardens, pollinator gardens, and areas where the soil is not overly rich. Lupines bloom in blue, purple, pink, yellow, white, red, and bicolor shades. They do prefer soil that drains well, so if your soil is heavy and soggy, lupine may not be the best first choice unless you improve drainage. Most perennial lupines grow about 2 to 4 feet tall and 1 to 2 feet wide. Many lupine species are native to North America, while others are native to Europe, North Africa, and parts of the Mediterranean region. Most perennial lupines grow best in USDA zones 4 through 8. Moving on to Baptisia, also called false indigo, is one of the best long-term perennials for improving soil health. Baptisia helps with nitrogen cycling and deep soil structure. Like clover, alfalfa, and lupine, Baptisia is in the legume family. That means it can support nitrogen-fixing bacteria underground. This is why Baptisia works so well over time. Once it gets established, it develops a deep root system. Those roots help the plant survive drought, but they also help support soil structure below the surface. As older roots naturally die and decompose, they add organic matter deeper in the soil. That matters because soil improvement is not just what happens on top. A lot of it happens underground, where roots, microbes, air, water, and organic matter all work together. Baptisia is a tough, long-lived perennial with flowers in blue, purple, yellow, white, cream, smoky gray, and bicolor shades. It usually grows about 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. Baptisia is native to North America and was historically used as a dye plant, which is why it is often called false indigo. It usually grows best in USDA zones 3 through 9. Next on the list is Comfrey. It works differently from the nitrogen-fixing plants, and that is why it deserves a spot on this list. Comfrey does not fix nitrogen like clover, alfalfa, lupine, or Baptisia. Instead, it helps build soil by adding organic matter and biomass. Biomass is just plant material, leaves, stems, and roots that can break down and feed the soil. This is why Comfrey works. It produces large leaves that break down fairly quickly. Many gardeners cut the leaves and lay them around plants as mulch. As those leaves decompose, they add organic matter back into the soil and help feed soil microbes. Comfrey is often used around fruit trees, garden beds, and heavy feeding plants because it creates a lot of plant material that can be chopped and dropped right where it is needed. It also has a strong root system that helps it pull moisture and nutrients from deeper in the soil. Comfrey is a fast-growing perennial with large green leaves and bell-shaped flowers in purple, pink, lavender, blue, or creamy white. It usually grows about 2 to 4 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide. Comfrey is native to Europe and parts of Western Asia. It usually grows best in USDA zones 4 through 9. If you grow Comfrey, I would choose a sterile variety like Bocking 14 so it is less likely to spread by seed. Last on today's list is Switchgrass. It is not here because of nitrogen. Switchgrass is here because of structure. Switchgrass helps improve weak, compacted, and erosion-prone soil with deep, dense roots. Healthy soil needs more than nutrients. It needs structure, air spaces, water movement, organic matter, microbes, and living roots. This is why switchgrass works. It sends roots deep into the ground. Those roots help hold soil in place, reduce erosion, and create channels where air and water can move more easily. As older roots die and break down, they add organic matter underground. That is one of the reasons perennial grasses can help build soil over time. Switchgrass is especially useful on slopes, open areas, clay soil areas, prairie-style gardens, and places where rainwater washes soil away. Switchgrass is a native warm-season perennial grass with upright foliage. Depending on the variety, the leaves can be green, blue-green, red-tinted, burgundy, copper, or golden in fall. It usually grows about 3 to 6 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide. Switchgrass is native to North America and is commonly found in prairies, meadows, and open grasslands. It usually grows best in USDA zones 4 through 9. So if your soil needs nitrogen, start with clover, alfalfa, lupine, or baptisia. If your soil needs more organic matter, Comfrey can help build biomass that breaks down and feeds the soil. And if your soil needs better structure, deeper roots, and erosion control, switchgrass is one of the best perennials to plant. Better soil is not built overnight. It is built through roots, microbes, organic matter, living plants, and time. If this helped, save this list and share it with a garden friend. And remember, here on Grow by Zone, we are growing plant by plant, zone by zone.